here so you can see me. You know, the first politician I really knew was Ishmael Mazario. He ran for the border. And he was successful. What else? We're here today to put a marker here, to remind people and let people know that there was something here other than a building. I got a long speech here, but I'm not going to take very long because I'm so overwhelmed. But I want to tell you, we are Baker. We are Lions. We are Lions. We are Lions. And that's what we want to do. We want to say, we are Baker. You remember the movie about Marshall College? I know that we're there. And what happened, the reason they built that team back so quickly was because they realized that we are Marshall. Not the building, not just the football team, but everybody that went there. We are Baker. I remember about the story of Jesus. When he came back, he spent 6 weeks with those apostles. Everything he'd ever done didn't matter. What he did after he left there made it certain that there was a kingdom, and it made certain that there was a kingdom, and there was the power of the kingdom. We make certain that Baker High School was an institution of higher learning and the highest in the state of Georgia. You brought the history of Baker with you here today. I don't have to read you the history. You are the history. But remember, Jesus Christ had an unconscious influence, and it has lasted 2,000 years. Our calendar is a sacred document. Our Constitution starts off with the year our Lord. That makes it a sacred document. We're not just a Christian We're not just a Christian country. We're first a Christian country. We were first a Christian school. Dr. Kirby read from the Bible and prayed every day. One of the scriptures he quoted was Colossians chapter 1, verse 17 says, He is before all things, and in Him all things will be done. The unconscious influence of the teachers, faculty, and even the people who cook our food is still in us today. We carry that unconscious influence. We have passed that on to our children, and our children will pass it on to their children. One day some people may not know what Baker was, but the influence of Baker High School will be in them. General Allen graduated. He had more vision than anyone had ever had before his time. He designed the government that I'm very proud of. We don't have to have 2 city councils or county councils. They have one. We'll hug over here just a smile. We don't have to fight each other. They fought each other. It's a great. I don't do that for Jacksonville, Florida, which is one of the largest cities in the country. Ground fire. But listen, what are we here for today? We're to pay tribute to the people who taught us, not the building. The people at Marshall had a disaster. We've had a disaster. They destroyed our school. They destroyed our building. They didn't destroy the unconscious influence that Dr. Kirby, Oscar Boyle, Ball. I still say things that Coach Ball said to me. I still remember things. Nick Hake, one of my classmates, is here today. Nick Hake passed kindness to somebody every day. I tell people I stole his talent. I want to tell you something. That meant something. That was a student. We had positive people here. We came to school Sunday night. I was ready to go to bed to come to school. Now, I was not the best student. And it was not my fault. I had all the right answers. They kept putting down the wrong questions. You know, I didn't graduate Baker, but I spent 8th, 9th, and 10th grade here, and I want to tell you, it changed my life. I take Baker with me. I've been around the world 12 times. I took my wife to China with me one time, and I had all the women and all the officers hugging me before I left. Now, I don't know if you know what China's about, but they don't touch. Obviously, they've touched sometime. But my wife told me, she said, you know, Paul, you was over here, you worked this whole country. But the thing is, we hugged at Baker. We were glad to see each other. Our teachers were everything they seemed to be. They were not just a shell talking out of it. They were not a computer. They had emotions, and they passed those emotions and caring to us. We are what they were. We brought the history with us, and it will never die as long as we keep passing on that wonderful influence that they influenced us. Foster Watkins personally had a lot of hoops to jump through in life to be successful. But he did. And he left Baker to become a college president. I mean, he was a student here at one time. Went to Georgia Tech. Newt Gingrich, golly, you know, if he'd have been president, we'd have had his library here. I mean, think about it. He's the smartest man ever been up there. He's the smartest student ever came here. I think he was the top 5 in the state of Georgia. Might have been in the nation. I don't know. I had people that worked for me that graduated from here. Vanessa Watley graduated in '87. I want to just share this with you. She was a black student, went to Columbus State, got a 4-year degree in nursing. She worked her way through as a cashier. She's now a vice president of Ranger Drugs, and I've sent her around the world as my representative. The things she learned at Baker and I learned at Baker, she's took around the world. A young lady named Janet Morris never went to college, but she's a vice president of Ranger Drugs, and she's the COO, Chief Operating Officer. Graduated in '83. I could go on and on. I just know these people personally, and they are Ranger Drugs. They've allowed me to retire 48 years. Now we're a 50-year-old company, but Baker has over half a century of people. Think of all the people that went through the. We have one gentleman that was a Medal of Honor winner. Bless his heart, I got it right here. I couldn't find it. Donald R. Johnson. He 69, I think it was. But he died in battle in Vietnam, and he covered himself over some explosives and saved several men. Graduate, Baker. I don't know how many more.